Hi, Ami. It's Andrea. This is my video to responding to your Goodie Mob video too. And I think what I want to do with this one, I listened to your videos actually probably 3 or 4 times each. And I hear what you were saying. In the second one in particular, what I read or heard between the lines was the sense that there's you feel an urgency to move forward in concrete ways, and I totally agree, as do I. And yet it still feels a little bit abstract, and I would agree. It still feels like we've got all these little threads, kind of that we've brainstormed and thrown at each other, and they're not quite all together, quite clear even to us just yet. So in my last video, I talked about the idea of building a purpose or a mission statement. I think that remains useful, and I won't get at that in this video, but I will talk. I do want to kind of grab some themes from your second Goodie Mob video. First of all, I want to frame this in the concept of what I don't think is going to be useful for us to articulate so much in our Me Too We project, but I think it's good for you and I to understand that really when we talk about purpose and the purpose of our work together and individual purpose, as we did in the video in which you talked about David Brooks' What's My Purpose, or What is Your Purpose article, that gets to sort of an existential question of who am I and what do I want to be about and how am I going to make my life be its fullest and so forth. Or you might think of it as self-actualization, sort of really finding that space in the world where you know that you're engaged in your purpose and you are engaged in your full capacities at that moment in time. So this idea of self-actualization, and I've done a lot of thinking on this, and I think what we're missing is social or relational actualization. We certainly, as we've talked about, institutions will tell us how we should be socially and what our purpose maybe should be in terms of our careers or professionally or faith-wise or whatever the case may be, or laws. But those aren't getting at our mutual shared relational or social actualization. How do you and I, as me to we, co-actualize together? So we both have our own purpose, and we start understanding that through our discussions and maybe even in our own private reflections. But we're also sort of doing this shared actualization in this one project and maybe others that we might engage with. So I want to consider that social actualization. I think I just want to name that, as I think that's what we're doing with these Me Too We videos in this project that you and I are doing. So stepping back from that academic piece, which is not going to be interesting to a lot of people, but I just felt the need to kind of frame it for me, if nothing else, and I hope it's of use to you as well. So then I want to step back and get back to your video. What was just sort of kept coming at me, the content of your thoughts was great. It made perfect sense, and yet what sort of kept coming to the fore for me was words that you used a number of times. You mentioned a song that I'm supposed to listen to, and I think it's a Bob Marley song or something, called One Foundation, or maybe that's the group. I don't know. I couldn't find it, but you used the word foundation a couple times, so that word jumped out at me, notwithstanding the song, which I will find and listen to after I PM you and get the real name of it. So that was a word that I thought might apply to what we're doing here. We're building a foundation of social actualization or shared humanity or Me Too We voices or Me Too We tag team supporting of each other in social spaces and online spaces. You also use the word build a couple of times, which I love because it gets at the idea that it's not you and I sort of building this effort. It's something we're building, maybe again a foundation for or scaffolding for, but that others build out through growing this Me Too We videos effort. Another couple of words that you use the idea of the train moving. How do we keep moving forward? And I like that. I think that's a really good one for us to keep in mind as we're narrowing in on our purpose and our mission, and also focusing in on what are those concrete things that we want to do via websites or social media and so forth. A couple of other things. You use the term a lot, and I really want to value it because you use it a lot, and it's the term one, or one voice, or one love. Now that's your term. It's not necessarily my term, but I do, because it's something that keeps coming up in your videos and in other conversations you and I have, I just want to kind of lift that up and keep that in our discussions, because it seems to touch something really important to you, and certainly is of, I mean, I get it from where I get it, and I think it is a powerful concept, one love, meaning, you know, not you, me loving you or you loving me, but together loving one another and our world. So keeping that word in mind. There's a term that I like to use. It's called hidden humanity. I have a concept or a belief that there's an awful lot of amazing voices out there that aren't being heard because of the way that we structure our society, and institutions amplify certain voices over others. It's another term that I just want to add to our mix. These might be terms that we can use to help conceive that mission statement or a purpose statement, or maybe terms to help us define for others what we're all about, or maybe, you know, name certain parts or pieces of our Me Too We effort. To build on your concept of one, or one voice, or one love, or togetherness. I also want to recognize that we're really talking in these Me Too We videos about sort of a 2x2 process. So it takes it from one to two. So I want to throw those words out there: 1 to 2, or 2x2 voices, or one voice to two voices. All of this. And I'm not saying that any of this is concrete and that we need to use any of this, just putting it in our heads again in a more intentional way, and see if there are ways that we can incorporate these words that continue to come up in useful and conscious ways in our project and work together. So I'm going to set that aside. I talked first a little bit about the idea of self-actualization and social actualization more in a theoretical way, and then I did this really kind of just brainstorming and grabbing and observing words that we both use, and see how we can use those in our work together to describe it, or to name it, or whatever the case may be. And then I just want to go to one last thing, and this is very concrete. It gets to your mentioning that you've been building a website on Wix, which you've shared with your One Voice website, which you've shared. I've also been building a website on Wix called Me to We Videos. We've both built Facebook pages. So, and we've also both shared music and articles. Me, articles more, you, music more. So it's just something that I think we need to kind of make a process out of, is we should be capturing these all and probably immediately putting them on websites, so that we don't lose track of our resources. All of this is very rich stuff. This music that you share is really rich. It really enlivens and fills in and fills out your words. You're a little less verbose than I am, and my apologies for being so verbose. And I also think they may be of value to others when we publish those websites, one or the other, or both of them. So we should probably just add links to whatever media that we're producing right now. And that can be one moving forward of the train in a very concrete way as we continue to build this Me Too We Videos project together, which is, it's such a joy and such a light and otherwise really busy and kind of crazy and sometimes grumpy days. So thank you very much. And I want to end this video by giving you my favorite civic engagement theme song, and that is, and I probably shared it with you on one or two of the Facebook groups that we share, but I'm going to share it here again. It's U2 and Mary J. Blige performing One. So it's really great, and I'll add a link. Thank you. Enjoy your work. Look forward to seeing your videos.